Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be sewing the simple bubu that you see on the screen. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and definitely hope to see you more on my channel. So I have my fabric laid down now, and my fabric is actually folded into four because I'm going to be cutting the front and the back panel together. This is a bubu and it's free, so it does not need zip. So I have here actually two trouser length that I've folded because it's a short bubu. So the first thing I'm going to do is to draw a baseline from which all my measurements is going to start. So that baseline now is going to form the shoulder area, and then the measurement from the middle of my back to where my sleeve, the bubu of my sleeve is going to stop. Here I'm using 17. You can use up to like 19 inches. When I draw that, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch at that end, and then I'll just create a stencil line by going in with 3 inches from the middle. So you, even though this is a bubu, you still need to create that slanty effect around the shoulder area. Now for the neck width, I'm using 4 inches for the neck width, and for the neck depth for the back I'm going to be using 1.5 inch, and for the front I'm going to be using between 7 to 8 inches. So by doing this, I don't have to think of adding anything that is going to make it enter my head. It will easily enter my head. So I'm cutting the front and the back together like I said earlier. So I'm going to draw everything on one part of the fabric. Now from the drop down of the shoulder, I'm going to come down by 12 inches, which is now going to form my sleeve round. And from that 12 inches, I'm going to go down, then measure also that 12 inches around the waist or bust area. So you're coming down by 12 inches from the sleeve area, and then you now go in by 1.5 because you don't want the bubu to be boxy somehow. So I got another chalk to show you there that after you've gone down by 12 inches for the sleeve width, you now go in again by 1.5, and then you have a slanting line going from your shoulder area to where the sleeve is going to stop. Remember, the sleeve is cut together. So after doing this, now I'm going to get my shoulder to waist measurement, my shoulder to hip measurement, and of course the length of the gown. So just draw that as you see me drawing it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to start adding my horizontal measurement. So at the hem of the gown, I'm going to add quarter of my hip measurement plus 5 inches. The 5 inches is going to include the sewing allowance. At the waist area, I'll add quarter of my waist measurement plus 5 inches. At the hip area also, I'm going to measure quarter of my hip measurements plus 5 inches. So this 5 inches also include the sewing allowance, but you can add up to like 7 inches plus your quarter measurements in case you want it to be bigger. And remember that this bubu is knee length, so you can also make it into a long bubu. Just take note of your measurements as you're folding the garment. Now from that slant of the sleeve area, look at how I'm using the curve of my ruler to join it. We don't want to use a straight line to join that because it's going to affect the look of the bubu. Around the sleeve area, I'm going to add 1 inches following the slant to the sleeve area to form my allowance for the sleeve area. And like that, we are basically done with drafting the bubu, so we can go on to cut it. Now note that when you are cutting, you want to first of all cut the parts and cut everything together, and when it comes to the neckline, you are going to cut the back neckline first. You cut the back neckline first. After cutting the back neckline, you now separate the back piece from the front piece, and then you trace out the front neckline. Thank you. So now for the sewing part, this part is actually very easy. I've actually gone ahead to weave all the rough edges, and the first thing I'm doing is to join the front shoulders, so front and back shoulders. So after joining that front and back shoulder, then we'll now go on to the remaining part. So you can weave your fabric or you can finish sewing before you weave it, but this fabric is kind of removing thread, for the lack of a better way to describe it, so I had to just weave it. Plus I didn't want to stop and start because it was already crunch time for delivering it to my client. So after joining the shoulder, I'm going to measure from that apex of the shoulder 17 inches down, where I'm going to put the pocket. So I have a separate video which I think I'm going to drop in this description for how to cut a pocket and join it. So I'm going to join pockets left and right for this bubble, and yeah, we'll join the pockets and then we can go on to the next thing. So after joining the pocket, now let's proceed to the sleeve. So I have this 1-inch crinoline which I'm going to use to turn the sleeve. So what I'm going to do is the rough edge of the crinoline, I'm just going to take a scrap fabric and just use that scrap fabric to turn it, so that it's not going to be affecting my clients where they wear it. So the first edge of the crinoline, just take a scrap and use it to turn it, and then you place it right side on your Bubu sleeve. So what the crinoline does is what gives it that effect of is actually standing. So also make sure that at the end of the crinoline, where the Bubu is going to stop, you also use this crinoline to turn it, so that it's not going to be pricking your client's skin, because this crinoline is actually very is rubber, so it's going to prick your client's skin. But I like the effects that it gives Bubus, in that it makes the sleeve stand, so the sleeve is not just falling in a way. It gives it that Bubu structure that you want around the sleeve. So I'm just showing you how I'm going to do one side, so you can replicate what you are doing here for the other side of the Bubu. So after doing the sleeve, I'm going to now pick the Bubu. Make sure that you are turning it. So when you've placed the crinoline on the right side to join it, then you now make sure that you stitch it down on the other side. I'm begging you that you should not actually use hemming glue to make a crinoline stay in this case, because it can come off and it's not going to be good, especially if you are making it for a client. So I'm going to join from the end of the sleeve down to where the pocket is, making sure that the curved areas of the Bubu, I'm double stitching it, because after sewing all of this, I have to notch the curve area of the Bubu. Why you notch the curve area of a Bubu is because you want it to be straight, kind of stand very well. So that's why when I'm sewing it, I make sure that I stitch it like 2 or 3 times, so that when I notch it, it's not going to be tearing or anything. If you are sewing this Bubu and you're watching this video, I think you kind of understand. So towards the end, I'm going to add about 4 to 5 inches of slits to this Bubu. You can decide not to add it, but I just wanted to add it to add a little bit of pizzazz to my own Bubu. So then you can see me that I'm giving it a notch around those curve area. The next thing I'm going to do is that slit that I've created, I'm just going to sew it down. This one you can actually use hemming gum to glue it down, but like I said, I'm sewing this for a client and I don't want stories that touch that saying something is falling off or removing. So I prefer to stitch it down, especially if I'm using a color of thread that I know that matches my fabric correctly here. So I've stitched it down, and here we are almost done with sewing of this bubble. Also make sure that you hem the Bubu, that is the hem line of your Bubu. Also make sure that you hem it as you stitch down the slits, and then iron. Please, ironing is very important for this sewing project or any sewing project. But this fabric is very funny because it's not ironing as well as say something like Ankara or iron, because it's the way the fabric is. But I still have to make sure that I use my steam iron to press it down properly. So the last step is to use a bias tape to turn the neckline. You can create a, what is it called now? I can't remember the name. I'll put the name on the screen. So you can create that thing to turn the neckline, but me, I'm just using a bias tape, and that is basically it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.